Hey, what's up, my people? How you doing? My name is Dalton, and this is my channel. Okay, and we're gonna do another reaction video. That's right, baby. We're gonna do a reaction video, and I got my say on this. Okay, and this one is about a security guard done wrong. Okay. And they tried to throw him on the bus, and they did throw him on the bus, okay? And this has happened to me a couple times in my life. I got thrown on the bus, so I feel for him. And if you don't know my background, I worked security over 10 years in 5 different states, okay? I have an associate's in criminal justice. I have a bachelor in science as a crime analysis. So, but I have been thrown on the bus. So I feel for this brother. But let's watch this. Let's do this. All right. Remember, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share. I want your comments. Let's go.
Percy Payne says at his security job Monday night at 6th and Brushy, he saw 2 young men going inside this underground garage, the door stuck open. He believes they were trying to steal his car.
Wow.
He tried to detain them and says they attacked him. Payne had to call 911 twice for an officer to respond. During Fox 7's interview earlier this week, his supervisor walked up and told him there's a policy against doing interviews in uniform. Things escalated with Payne deciding to quit.
Oh, that's cold.
Take your uniform off?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But they kept arguing.
You touched him.
Is it my fault?
I would say yes, every bit of it is your fault.
Payne, speaking to us Friday, talks about the attention he's gotten.
It's overwhelming, but I really do appreciate all the positive energy and everything that's been happening.
When asked if he was worried about what came next after he quit,
In a way I was, but I still had to think positive. I got a whole kid with me, so I got to think positive. So if he see me worrying, he gonna worry.
and after thinking he had to job search,
I woke up the next morning, was about to really get on Indeed and just start scrolling, because I know I've been looking in the medical field and a lot of stuff, but something keeps drawing me back to security.
that's where Michael Cargill came in, seeing our story on social media.
He deserved better. That was just insane, the fact that he
Yes.
was in that predicament in the first place, and the fact that his supervisor was blaming him, his company was blaming him as the person that was in the wrong.
He made the decision to hire him just like that.
No,
That
that's
is the
dope.
first time me hiring someone, not knowing anything about that person, not knowing anything about their background, but the fact that he's a level 2 security officer, that tells me he has a good background. So, hey, I'm confident he's going to be an outstanding person.
Payne will be starting his new job Monday.
He's level 2 security, unarmed. I'll make him a level 3, an armed security guard. I'll give him the training.
Blessing. You know, I'm like, yeah, this is a blessing, so I'm going to take this. This is an opportunity. It's a doorway. I'm going to take it. It can lead anywhere.
All right, y'all. Let's talk. It's one of the reasons I got out of security. I started getting burnt out after way over 10 years. Security used to be a lower level aspect, and it is in some cases, some places, you got armed security. Most places you're going to have unarmed, armed, and then you even have level 4, which can be a bodyguard. Okay, it all depends on the country, the state you live in. They categorize it differently. Okay, like in Oklahoma, Texas, it's level 2 unarmed, level 3 armed, level 4 is just before you become an officer. Okay, you have to learn all this stuff in level 4 and pass all these tests. You even have to go through the tunnel. And if you don't know what a tunnel is, it's or a version of the tunnel. That's a tear gas tunnel. You have to go through all that. Yes, you do at level 4. It's no joke. Okay, and you can become a bodyguard as well. For stars, famous people need it. You know, even special missions. Okay, so That's one of the main reasons I got out of security, because it transformed itself from being security and protecting those and the people and their property to straight up nothing but hands-off customer service. There's certain areas that you could see people just taking tons of stuff and you don't supposed to do anything. You know, you're supposed to look. It has not, and a lot of young people don't understand, it has not always been that way. Okay? It has not always been that way. And that's one reason I got burnt out with security, because I was like, and I saw it, how it did form itself from actually being pseudo, I wouldn't even say pseudo, it's like a form of law enforcement. You know, you were not police officers, but it was a form of law enforcement, and you did have jurisdiction over your area that you were private security on, okay, and you had the right to do what they asked you to do. Then it slowly turned into, that's why a lot of even the young people don't take it seriously, because it turned into customer service, glorified customer service. Okay, you just sit there, and you would never have seen, and nothing against women working security, that's fine. But in trouble areas, you were not going to see them put 110-pound woman in areas that they know they had theft, people trying to come up and start fights with you, even try to put their hands on you. You know, they would never have done that. But now, that's why, and these people who rob, whether they do it as, as a group or just two people, one keeping them people's attention away while the other one robs. All right, However, and it's so bad now that they put it on TikTok. It's a thing now, a trending thing, to show you stealing at Walmart, Target, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. It's a thing now. TikTok. Or even eating free food at those places like that. And and people are, giving them thumbs up and stuff for that. So, I mean, back in the day, you hire security for a reason. So, and it was cold how I got thrown on the bus. I believe twice, I remember. But this one, when I lived in Texas, I was working in Texas, and I had to, I took care of it, and I found out a really bad situation which they fixed. And I reported it, and they pat me on the back and everything. And I had to leave the company for a little bit. I forgot I think it was like a medical. And then I came back, and they said, "Oh, we got you on no hire. We can't rehire you." And something happened on the site, Texas Instruments. Yeah, something happened on that site, and they were they threw me under the bus, saying it was my fault. When I didn't even work that day. So they will do that. And I know I talked to this one brother one time, and I made a video about that, where he was armed, and he was working at this Radio Shack. Back in the day when we had Radio Shack. It was at night. And this guy was robbing the Radio Shack, and he was on the roof, and it looked like he pulled out a gun, so the guy already gave commands, and the guy wouldn't obey the commands. He was still trying to get away, and he pulled out something like a gun. The guy shot him. Poof. He didn't kill him. He shot him. I think he shot him in the butt once or twice. And they end up, at first, the security company had his back. Okay, yeah. They went to court. They went to court with him and all this other stuff. And then right in the middle, when he needed them the most, they decided to back out and not put any more money in him. Charge him. And so he had to get a public offender, which this poor guy who worked security ended up doing like 2 years in jail. And then they gave the guy, the robber, some money. He got money. Yeah, the thief got money. The security guy got thrown on the bus by their company. Stop paying for the lawyer. He had to get a public offender. Yeah, 2 years in jail. Crazy. All right, y'all. I'm glad that brother found his calling. And I'm glad that another person who is qualified or unqualified saw the good in him, picked him up, and hired him. And I hope that wuss, that wench that tried to punk him on national television gets what she deserved. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.